for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any public participation?
No.
Okay. Council reports. Jed, start with you tonight. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the PUC meeting. We invited the St. Louis County Conservation group over. He came and visited our group on last Wednesday. It went over really well with our bunch. So a lot of good stuff you can offer the city, and we plan on having him back in the spring to see our water or storm sewer, storm water, and other things. So that's it.
Thank you. Good evening, Cheyenne.
Good evening. I attended a police commission meeting and an HRA meeting. That's all.
Thank you. Travis?
Yeah, just a couple things. Tonight is the Hoop Club Pasta fundraiser, so if you're watching at home, you can order takeout and get or delivery, and that can be delivered as well.
Where can we get that?
Valentini's,
Okay.
4 to 7 tonight. $12, support the basketball teams and our youth. Second thing is, I do want to apologize to the public because Slide to City is canceled this year, which is a bummer for me. So, but we'll make it better next year. That's all I have.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Travis. Good evening, April.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I've got a couple things here. Tuesday, February 14th, I attended a library board meeting where we discussed the fun and amazing programs the library is offering during the winter reading program and what they are and what they now have done for Polar Bear Days. We discussed the 5-year outdated public computers that we hopefully will be replacing soon. The upcoming library tours, the exhibit, and the take and makes, and collaboration ideas with the downtown revitalization group. And then on Monday, all the council members here, including myself, we attended a, how would you say that? Special
working session.
Meeting, closed session.
Mhm.
So we all were in attendance there, so that was good. Oh, I also was reading the commission reports, and it was brought up, the police commission meeting by Commissioner Holloway, that because if there's, the citizens need to know that we do have calendar parking, and if you got cars parked on both sides of the road, it's hard for our ambulance and our fire department to get through, so make sure you follow those rules, and so these our fellow emergency services can get through and do their jobs. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you. Marty, anything tonight?
Good evening. February 16th, I attended a meeting with Bar Engineering and the state regarding the Redhead flooding problem we had last year and the culverts out there. And then on Monday the 20th, had the special meeting here at the council. That's all I have.
Thank you. For myself, I'd like to start off saying congratulations to Councillor Holloway. Just recently passed his NREMT, so lots of hard work went in. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Apart from that, I spent Saturday on the lake with the Kiwanis. You know, we did some ice fishing, a lot of local residents and some people from out of town. That was a very fun event. We do still have an opening on the PUC board, speaking of the PUC tonight. Also, I attended an HRA meeting and looking forward to attending the next one, which is the capital project hearing for them. So kind of going over what their future looks like. So that should be exciting. Today I attended the Iron Rams Mayor's meeting, and their one of the lobbyists had made mention that the Redhead is part of the LCCMR grant that we're going after, and some of the southern representatives were trying to make that a 50% match, which would make that almost impossible for us to capitalize on. And because of a amendment Senator Hochschild had thrown in there, it was defeated in their area. So it goes on to the next, and hopefully it continues on.
Mm-hmm.
So good news with that. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. And we'll move on to the ambulance director. Good evening and welcome, Tiff Larson. Would you like to come and say hi? No, it's fine. Well, today's day 2 of our new ambulance director. I'm sure nothing to report, but thank you very much and welcome. Congratulations. Fire chief.
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Chris. Police chief, not here. Building official, zoning administrator. Thank you, Mandy. City engineer.
I have no report other than any questions you might have for me.
Let me down, Jim. Parks, Trails, Rec Director. Tyson, Public Works. Oh, we should have flipped that around there.
She just runs up.
I beat up to the podium. I do have an announcement about a position that is open, which is a volunteer position, a coach for, we added in Parks and Rec a U6 soccer. U6 is pre-K through K, ages 3 through 6. So that should be really fun, a great opportunity for somebody to coach. So putting that out there to the community, looking for a coach for that one. And U8, first grade and second grade. I too, along with Travis, want to apologize to the community for Sled City being canceled. We did expand an opportunity at the skating rink, so if everybody wants to come out to roast some Rice Krispie treats over a fire and skate, I think that'll be a really fun time, and I'll be there to see the community at that event. So please come 1 to 4 on Saturday. I think that's all that I have, unless you have questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Public Works. Sorry, Larry. I swear she uses smaller print on yours here.
It's okay, Mayor. No, we in Public Works wanted to say too, that's led the city to more golf courses this year. It was a little systematic failure on top of weather. You know, we were out Monday for the holiday, so we lost one day right off the bat. And then with the 2-day snow, the 7 inches, if we do it, we want to do it right. You know, this is a fun project for us. We do our normal jobs all day, so when we can do something like this for the community and the kids stuff, we really want to do it. So it just didn't work out, and then with the weather coming, but I think it's an opportunity, and we can make it better next year, and we'll go from there. We are watching the snowstorm tonight. They're getting it worse. My brother lives down that way, and he's not real happy right now. They got some bad forecasts down there, so we'll sit here and watch it right on the edge, and we'll wipe off in the morning and Friday if we need to. So,
Thank you, Larry.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Library supervisor. Katie's gone. City attorney.
I have no formal report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you all have. Thanks.
Any questions? City clerk. Eileen is out. City administrator.
Good evening, everybody. I too just want to welcome Tiffany Larson to the team. We're excited to have her here and move forward with our ambulance service. So thank you and welcome.
Anything else for the city administrator? I did miss one thing under myself that I laid out in front of all of you counselors. So this is a letter that was given to me at the ramps. You know, they're very active with everything that goes on in our area, and one of the decisions recently withdrawing some federal lands that would be used for mining. You know, it's very controversial right now, but they're looking for mayors to sign on to a letter like this. You know, this is nothing political. This is something that works for our environment and our economies up here. I don't believe I need permission from the council to be signing off on something like this, but I do want everybody to be aware, and if anyone does have, you know, an extreme issue, I would like to talk about it, you know, before I do just sign off on it. So if there's any concerns or anything we want to talk about or bring up later, feel free. I haven't given the authorization yet, so you know, we can discuss this further if anyone would like.
Mr. Mayor, can we just add this to the agenda under miscellaneous, so if anybody
end?
had any
Sure.
questions or if they felt
We'll
they
talk about it then.
should approve it or anything?
I think so. If it went onto agenda, it would have to go onto the next week's.
I think, I don't have any problems, but
I don't think it needs to vote, so,
perfect.
you
We can
know,
discuss
you
it
can
or-
discuss
I think
it
it's great.
if you want to add it to the agenda tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, moving on to consent agenda, the list of bills, communications, which are Elevon changes in pricing, December 13th, 2022 Chisholm Library Board minutes, library use data 2023, January 4th, 2023 Police Commission minutes, minutes of previous city council meetings, February 8th, 2023 regular meeting, February 8th, 2023 working session, payroll and overtime. So if there's nothing on concerns, I would look for a motion to approve consent agenda.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, April.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. No unfinished business, new business. Bridget, first up.
Tonight I'm looking for approval to post, interview and hire for up to 9 positions within Chisholm Summer Rec Program. The changes in the description from previous years is a title change from aide to specialist, and then some minor language changes in accommodations and physical demands of work environment, as well as kind of flip-flopping and adjusting the preferred and minimum qualifications.
Okay, does anyone have any questions or concerns?
Your salary range just based on experience, I assume, so.
Yeah, salary range changed only based on minimum wage increasing, and there is an incremental every year you get a little bit of an increase.
Okay.
Okay, so I would look for a motion to approve the job description. Do we have to do this one at a time, or can we do all three at once? Job description, posting, and hiring.
I think you could do all three in one resolution, one motion.
Okay, if there's nothing further, I'd look for a motion to approve the job description, posting, and hiring for CSRP Summer Rec Specialists.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Marty.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Bridget.
Thanks, Bridget.
Stephanie Scraba, Resolution 0223-19.
Yes, so, I'm excited to report that we have our public safety bids coming to council tonight. And Brendan, Kellerman is here with Adolphson and Peterson to answer any questions. I don't know if you wanna come up, Brendan, and, be available for any questions that the council may have. I know there's a lot in your packet, and then the alternates are also laid out. And as we discussed in working sessions with our financials of where we're at, recommendation would be to approve the base bid on the project, and then we would be able to move forward with that. Eileen has been working diligently on the financial side. We do still have a couple things, but we did meet with our USDA rep. Brandon was on that call, and we feel confident that we are in a good spot to move forward at this point with the base bid on this building, but I know there's probably questions, and Brian is way more of an expert than I am in this field, so he's here to answer any that you may have.
Thank you, Steph. Welcome, Brandon. I just want to touch base real quick on a question I had asked earlier, in case anyone else had the same. I was looking at alternates C and D, which are the aprons. I was just kind of curious on something like that. That's the heavy duty aprons, is that something that we can approve now, or can we approve part of it? I don't think an apron would be needed all the way across, but, I was just told that if we get to the end of our project and we find that there's money left over, that's something that we can add in, almost all the way until the very end, so.
Yeah, that one especially, depending on when we do it, we'll probably do it in May of 24, so once we get approval prior to then. My plan would be to have money left over in contingency, so it would more than cover what we need to do there, so. And I know in the GMP amendment it says by March 9th accepting those alternates, but that one falls entirely underneath AP's lease contract, and we won't have an issue doing it at a later date.
That was what I had. Marty?
I noticed in our resolution that none of the alternates are up for approval tonight, according to this.
Yeah, so when
We're approving the base bid only tonight.
the resolution can be changed if there is alternates that are approved tonight. I did speak to Brian and Clea may have more to speak on that, but I did speak to him this afternoon. And we can, if the council does want to move forward with alternates on top of the base bid, that resolution can be altered for tonight's.
Yeah, and how you would do that is you would make a motion to approve the resolution with modifications. Then I would, we could redo the motion or the resolution and then it would be signed tomorrow. But you can certainly do that if you want to add in any other of the alternates tonight.
Yeah, I had a question here on Brandon, in the documents about this $40,000 structural allowance for increasing roof load. Can you explain that a little bit, or
Yep.
what's going on there?
Yep,
What page are you
so-
on, Marty?
It's on page 33, and I think it shows up one other time, maybe once for the labor and once for the materials, I don't know. But
Yeah,
it's
so-
for sure on page 33.
Yeah, when we went through the value engineering process and tried to get the cost of the project down from our estimate, it was decided that, I think it was about $140,000 savings or so to change to a ballasted roof instead of a fully adhered roof. So the structural engineer did not have enough time to react and increase. So what happens is the rocks go on the roof, so the
Oh.
structure, the joist needs to be upsized. So we talked about it, felt right around 40 grand would be adequate, right around there. It may go up or down slightly, if it's less, that it goes back. It's just an allowance, and if it's more, we would just pull that money out of contingency. So the base bid is the ballasted roof. There will be something there with those added costs, we just don't know exactly what it is, we carry an allowance to make sure we're not
So
falling short.
the ballasted roof saved money, but it's gonna add a little back in because of the engineering that might have to be done.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and so when I look at the alternates, it would actually, if that one were accepted, it would change the low bidder from Range Cornice to Lake Area Roofing. So their base bid was higher, Lake Area Roofing, but the alternate number was lower. And at the end of the day, I think, by the time I figured contingencies and change percentages in, it was about $180,000 add, if we were gonna change and go to that one. So it was a significant cost savings.
Okay, so again, what was the savings?
It was about $180,000. So when I look at the alternates in here, it would be alternate 5, but that's based off of the base bidder, that I have, cause I felt like we were heading down the path of accepting base bids. So I included all of those, the low bidders, so I included all of those numbers. So those are Range Cornice's numbers, and it lists out at 402,792. But if we did wanna go down that path, I would just have to amend the statement. It'd be about $180,000, I think is what it come up to.
What was the overall deduct?
Matter of fact, I can tell you it was exactly, it was, it was $180,000.
Oh, I see, okay, your structural allowance is in here, 40,000. Item 24. Roofing, arrangements, okay. All right, thank you.
Any further questions?
I got a question about the alternate number 2, the exercise room. So we have $40,000 of equipment that are above the fire alarm that was donated to the city. And plus we've received some equipment on grants. If we approve this alternate, would we, say if we do or don't approve that alternate for that room, where does that equipment go?
I believe it, correct me if I'm wrong, but if items donated to the city, they're up there, that would have to go out for like auction then?
Yeah, you can do, there's a couple different ways. You can put it out on auction and you can if it's not worth anything, you can donate it, you do a resolution, or you can put it out for bid and as abandoned property essentially, and you do a resolution for that. There's a
Okay.
process for doing that.
There could be opportunity for other space if we
Right.
establish a space that makes sense for that use too, so I think there could be further conversations on, because we do have some other, once some of these buildings are vacated, there could be some additional space to consider too.
Because we should really consider promoting health and wellness for employees too, so something to think about.
Anything else?
I
Marty?
guess the only comment I would make is, we're somewhere around $600,000 short, and all these alternates add up to, I don't know, 1.3 million if you take all of them. And then we just add the extra bay, it's 400,000, that's on top of the 600, that's, $1 million shortfall. So I have a real hard time proceeding with entity alternates unless we find funding. There's more funding that comes forward either through the legislature or LGA or grants or getting a second mortgage on the ambulance garage or something, I don't know. Or we'd all donate our salaries. That would cover the whole thing, I'm sure.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. According to some people. So, yeah, I have no problem accepting the base bid and trying to move forward and figure that out, and then in the next few weeks or next meeting, or as things move forward, try to figure out what do we do. Maybe Eileen can work some magic somewhere with the numbers, or project how we can finance this through next year's budget as well, or come up with extra money through next year's budget, or grants, or we don't really know how the state and the federal government are gonna react or have anything for us, perhaps, I don't know, but,
You make a good point too, Marty, there is a lot of funding kind of sitting out there right now, it's like LGA and what's gonna happen with that, and there is things that could change financially for us quite a bit, depending on what happens in the next.
I think as long as you're aware that in the next few months here, I don't know, just get answers and get going, but we might not be able to commit to anything until maybe the legislature session's out, and maybe by June or July, we know that, hey, we're gonna have an extra $500,000 that we can afford to do some of this alternate work. But on the other hand, they gotta get going on construction, they're gonna go and,
Yeah.
but if we try to, maybe we should not work on the north end right away. In case we're gonna move that foundations or.
And these can be accepted later too, it just may come with a little on the cost implication, the material order or something, it may be a little bit higher, but we can do that as an option.
I completely agree. Being shortfall, where we're at right now, we'd all love to have that extra bay on the fire side. We'd all love to have more space. Some people would like to have sheetrock walls on the certain areas, which I like the concrete, but no, I'm looking forward to this, and I think this is going to be better than anything anyone before us has ever had. So this is monumental for us. So, how does everybody else feel?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, when me, you, and April sat here the first time in these chairs, this is what we talked about. Finding a way to make this happen. Mayor Champa, when he was here, wanted it and wanted to find a way, and here we sit.
4 years
Ready-
later.
4 years later, ready to move on and get it started. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
And before us, it was Cheyenne and Marty were
They
talking
came
about
back
it.
for more. They came back for more.
And 20 years of councilors before them.
Probably more than that.
So, with all that being said, I would look for a motion to approve Resolution 0223-19 as is with the base bids.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Travis. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Brandon.
Right, we should clap,
That was much easier than spanking the Chisholm boys basketball team, gave our McClifford boys last year.
Would you please go back up to the mic and say that again?
I wasn't gonna.
Okay, moving on. Counselor Fountain, request for a joint meeting with the school board, planning commission, and city council. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna jump in here real quick, at your request. So, we had a working session roughly 2 weeks ago where the superintendent of the school had come and talked to the council with his vision of, what he thought would be a good idea for a bus garage. Again, it came from the superintendent, not from the school board, spoke to us, not at length, but we had a good conversation, and I made my feelings well known. And then just because it came from the superintendent and not from the school board, I, Adam Lance of my own free will, not representing the council in any way, shape, or form, went and spoke to the school board. Again, I did reference, my history on the EDA, planning and zoning, city council, and I expressed my opposition to what the superintendent was suggesting. And my request was that the school board direct their superintendent to look different ways and to move on from anything that would turn into the school and the city having a confrontation about what might be best. So again, I just want to reiterate, that was me. That letter can be out there. I can make it available. The video is out there. For anybody that has any questions, concerns, my phone number is public. Feel free to call me anytime. So, that being said, Councillor Fulton.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
So I'd like to propose a joint meeting to gain more information about the proposed school bus garage and zoning requests that they're asking. So it would be a joint meeting with school board, planning commission, and city council, and whoever else needs to be involved. Just so we can just have some more information about it. I just want to, working together as a team, that's what we're here for. And we just want to make sure that it's all open to the public so that the public can be informed and be present or present something at the meeting. If there's people of the public that have concerns about it or want to speak at it, I think they should have that ability to do that. And let's see, I had a whole couple paragraphs all planned out. And I appreciate, Mr. Mayor, that you let the public know that you did that on your own free will and that wasn't by council. So I appreciate you letting people know about that. And I also want to let the public know that this council, the Chisholm City Council, is considered, I don't even like this title, it's called a weak mayor council. And I just want to give you guys all of a definition because I've had phone calls and concerns, and I just want to give you the definition of a weak mayor council. And this is from the League of Minnesota Cities. The weak mayor council plan is far the most common plan in Minnesota. Under the weak mayor council plan, administrative as well as legislative authority is the ultimate responsibility of the council as a whole. The only exception would be if under authority of statute or home rule charter. A city has an independent board, such as a utilities commission, to handle one or more specific functions. The mayor's powers in the weak mayor council system are no greater than those of other members of the council, except the mayor is the presiding officer at council meetings and has few other legal and ceremonial responsibilities listed below. The weak mayor has no extraordinary power to individually make administrative decisions for the city. So I myself, April, do not have any authority. That's why I was like, I don't really like that, why they say weak mayor. So as an individual, like myself, I don't have any power over to make any decision over any of you. So we all have to make it collaboratively, and work as a group and as a team. So I just wanted to let the public know that. So I appreciate that. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, or if you guys don't think we should have this meeting, I'd like for you guys to speak up.
So just my opinion, the next step on this would be that the landowner has to go to the planning and zoning board, and they would have to request that the planning and zoning board work for, a rezoning. And again, this is just where I suggested, where I requested that they just, look different ways for your superintendent. Myself, my opinion. Cause we are all part of a board, we're able to go to any other board meetings we want to, talk to anybody we want to, and have our own opinions. I don't think that the superintendent has reached out to Mandy. No? I don't think the landowner has.
So the proper procedure would be for the property owner to apply to the planning and zoning for a rezoning request. And then at that time, a public hearing is set. And that's when your public meeting would be, and that is paid for by the property owner and the applicant at that time. And then, of course, anything that the planning commission votes on goes to the city council for final approval. So we usually don't call meetings without an application, a formal application in hand. The council can choose to do whatever they'd like to, to get any information out, but a public hearing has to be applied for by the property owner, and it has to be published in the paper and notifications sent out.
So, and I'm not against having a meeting. I think there's a lot of funding out there, so if they want to build a bus barn, I think, now would be the time that the school board is directing them to look for funding. But, so I think that could come with a meeting and direction.
Mr. Mayor, it almost seems like we should be looking at a working session with the school board, because when Mr. Norman was here, they just kind of basically came in and said, here it is. Well, I asked him, well, did you do, what's your analysis? What are your options? And how did you analyze the different options and settle that this one is the best?
Mm-hmm.
There was none of that. That's the stuff that everybody needs to see, is that here's option 1, option 2, option 3, 4, 5, 6, there should be a half a dozen options out there. As an example, when we looked at sites for our public safety building, we looked at, I don't know, a half a dozen different sites, and we agonized over all the different sites and different options and what it would cost and pros and cons. And I think that's what we need to see. That's what I think they should do in their own best interest and in our interest too, and to work together. So let's have what brainstorming has been done on this and what options have been looked at. And there may be options that they may not be aware of that we could help them with, and we need to get information from them on what are they looking at, what do they need, and funding, sites, how do we cooperate, and maybe there's things we can work together on, and with land or
Right.
costs or.
Well, that's what a lot of those, Larry was in, conversations with them about land in the public.
Right,
So.
right, well, we got the industrial park, we've got 6th Street South, we've got maybe potentially other sites, and I don't know what they've looked at the Vaughn site, if there's possibly there, I don't know, but
We don't
without
know.
any information or any analysis, it is hard to, and if that's the only option we have and came to, and it's not the greatest, I agree too, it's not the greatest option. So,
We want to invite them.
I would think a working session with them, maybe after they've done more research, we can do some more research and then everybody come together with their ideas and try to come to a consensus or next steps, and then if there's any planning and zoning changes that need to be made, it's all based on sound analysis and good judgment and good decision-making and whatever grants and loans and funding is out there.
Mhm. So our next council meeting is March 8th, and our last working session was done during a council meeting. Should we schedule a working session for 6:30 at our next, invite them to it?
If the school board, yeah, if they can.
And if they cannot make it, or if they don't want to meet, we can,
Yeah,
call
we
it
can either
dinner.
do it here at our meeting, or we go to their meeting, we've done it both ways in the past.
Yeah, we've done both.
We need to add, we could also add the, sports complex to that. the sport, add the sports complex to it.
Mhm.
We still have to finalize it. That's
Oh,
pretty
oh.
much ready to go, we just finalize
Okay.
it.
There's more discussion here than more.
In case there is, we'll
Okay.
put it on the agenda, and then if we
Sure.
don't have anything further, but
I really liked having that working session during a council meeting, you know,
Yeah.
instead of having another night away.
Right.
Mhm.
And then we can schedule it for that night, we can have it later, we just can't have it earlier,
Mhm.
correct? So, should we look for a motion to, invite the school board for a working session? And, so a working session with the school board
Is that what you were thinking, April?
Yes.
Yep. and a sports complex would be our second agenda item for March 8th at 6:30.
Or whenever our
Done.
meeting gets done, right? Or
We gotta set a
Okay.
time to it, so we
Okay.
can do it, so we can do it after the meeting, but we just
Okay.
can't do it.
6:30.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Fountain. Do I have support for a working session at 6:30, March 8th, with the school board and to discuss the sports complex?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion?
Sports complex and bus garage.
Yep.
I'll reach out to them.
Thank you, Steph.
Excuse me, did you want the planning commission present at that? It
It's
just
an open
states on
meeting,
the
so,
agenda. It just states
Yeah.
on the
yeah,
agenda.
they
Yeah, let's have them there, you know, if that way, you know, people from the planning.
want
I
to
think if
attend or
we have to make
public.
it,
Encourage them, yeah.
yeah,
It's an open meeting, so
And you
yeah.
have to set a meeting though.
we have to
Yeah.
set a
It's
meetings,
quorum.
it's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, if you have quorum.
Okay. You mind amending your motion to
I
include?
guess I'm
the-
really confused.
Well,
Oh,
the planning commission has to set a meeting too, so it's.
Oh.
Because they'll be
For
a quorum
quorum.
if they help.
okay, yeah. I'd like to amend my motion, Mr. Mayor, to include the planning commission as well.
Support.
Any further discussion?
Mandy, can you just clarify, the last time we talked about zoning, we kicked it back to planning and zoning. We've not formally accepted,
All 7 zoning changes and the 2 overlay districts were approved with the map as a concept.
Right.
With the map being changed at our last planning commission, there were some changes to that map. And I haven't gotten that map back yet from SCH Group to hold our next meeting to call for a public hearing.
okay, alright, thank you.
So the zoning
So
was
our
changed,
zoning- our
but the
zoning-
overlay was not.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had 7 districts that were changed.
Okay, very good, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Counselor Fountain, number 2, drain pipe concern.
Mr. Folstead, do you mind coming up here and talking about that? Do you need that? Do you need this?
No.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
So you just want me to address the,
Yeah,
yeah,
the,
so, no, I believe, former Counselor Campbell's reached out to Counselor, April Fulton there on the storm, that storm
yes, but
drain slash dredging slash project and proposals for, you know, emergency storms or what do you call them, large event storms. And, you know, we dredged the culverts to the lake, which was spoke about in your memo there. And I continue to work with Counselor Halverson with his engineering background, of course, and our city staff, Jim Johnson, of course. And as Counselor Jed Howell announced, we had a great meeting with an individual that's here to help us with St. Louis County Soils Conservation Group.
Yep.
And he wants to do a walk around of the lake and make some suggestions, and there may be water level suggestions, things like that. So, yeah, only thing I can say truly is we'll reassess in the spring. We'll keep watching it. We did some preventative maintenance, we believe, going into the spring thaw here. So,
Good question, but you did some clearing last fall.
yep.
Was that on this one, or was that on Fourth Street?
That was on,
This one's Fifth Street, right? This is-
yep,
Where you have the pedestrian bridge and the 3 culverts.
Yep.
So where did you do the work in the fall? Was that on this?
yeah.
On the,
Pretty sure,
on the
yeah.
lakeside?
Yep,
But-
lakeside.
But not
Correct,
the street side?
yep,
Okay, I think that's her concern is
yep.
that little stretch between the little bridge for the trail and the outlet from the storm sewer. I think that's what.
Yeah.
what she's-
I'd be apt that if there's that amazing hydraulic pressure which we've seen before, now we gave it a release and we will continue, to service that as needed.
Did you also do some clearing on the Fourth Street outlet too?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So you think that the clearing and the things that you guys have already, the preventative maintenance
Yep,
that
we're-
you've done, you don't think that we'll have flooding or anything in this?
Well-
That was the concern, that she,
Certainly,
You
always
know,
a
I mean-
concern, always a concern. Truly, when we get back to that evening, to that night, to that day, to that time of year when the water level was so high, and we've seen the amazing amounts of moisture that we had that summer, and that storm was arguably a 500-year storm, so I can't stand here and make any prediction that this would certainly help a 500-year storm. But truly, and we talked about it many times, that we had testimony from a lady down on Second Street, down here just below 4th Avenue Hill, had 4¼ inch. Retired water employee had 4½ inch, and Tracy herself admitted that she had over 3 inches when her rain gauge tipped over in 45 minutes. So arguably a 250 to 500-year storm. I truly can't say, Counselor, that we're doing what we can. We feel that would help, but I couldn't say for certain that there would be no more flooding because of those conditions. Jim, anything to add besides the
Well, and that's kinda-
the 500-year storm event?
You can't redo all your infrastructure to plan for that one event that happens a couple hundred years. Kind of like what they do with the highway coming through here. They look at your worst case scenario, and I was out that night. We pumped out a number of houses that were flooding. I believe it was a couple days later when you had your camera out there and we were going through the drain pipes. God bless you. They were clean. It was amazing. I was expecting to see dirt and mud and soot or anything there. They were clean pipes. That's amazing.
And we did. We cambered them. We have a roving $90,000 camera. We cambered all the way from Tracy's all the way to Lake, and it was clean. You couldn't find the shovel full of dirt in there. So it was clean. We've done that. We've done some dredging. And truly, I think, as we've talked about it before, these systems were never designed for a 400, 500-year storm or a 250-year storm. Even our new projects today, that just doesn't happen. So you really can't. I don't know if you can over-engineer something to 500-year storms nowadays and be able to afford it and do projects. So truly, when we back up, maybe Counselor Halverson could add.
Well, as an example, on the south side, there was severe flooding there in the 90s. And we ended up having to put in like 5-foot and 6-foot diameter pipe.
Right.
And-
Re-engineered it.
And it went from the lake all the way up to 4th Avenue Southwest. That's a long way. It was a big, big project. But it solved the problem. We haven't had flooding on the south side since. And we got a similar situation here. Takes bigger pipe. And we've already looked at some of the cost estimates for a big pipe. A quicker solution is to do that channel between Tracy's house and the neighbor. But again, that may be $80,000 to $100,000, plus we'd have to have an easement. That'd probably be the first step, is if Tracy and her neighbor are willing to do an easement, I think we could look into it, look for some funding and see if we can do it. That would be a quick relief. And something that'd be probably feasible. And then here, that little stretch between the walking trail and the storm outlet is pretty short. That'd be pretty easy to go clean up
Truly.
with excavator.
Truly.
I think it would probably be a good move, because it's built up. Those pipes are about half full of sediment. And if we just clean that little bit of the ditch, that's just gonna allow the water to get to the lake better.
Certainly couldn't hurt.
So, that's a pretty small, easy
Yeah.
thing to get accomplished, I think.
Absolutely.
So that'll be dredged in the spring.
Oh yeah, we'll be monitoring it You know, daily, weekly,
sure.
absolutely.
And with
I guarantee
with
you
what
will.
you've done, with what you've done, it may cut down by itself.
Yeah.
It may, since you did the downstream side, the water coming through
The hydraulic,
might
just watch it.
might cut it all down and clean it up. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't, then, yeah, we can go clean it up. It's not a hard job to do.
And we're all hoping with all of you that we just don't have a summer like that again, so.
Right.
Significant rain events was just terrible last year.
And I don't mean to make light to anyone that suffered any tragedy and, you know, hardships through that. You know, it's tough. So everybody wants to, as long as we're proactive and we're watching it. And now, if we get another, you know, if we get a 1-inch rainfall and all of a sudden we're seeing the same kind of buildup, then we know that we need to address this pronto. But, you know, so we just need to keep our eyes open and being proactive.
And thank you to all
Thank
of
you,
you
yeah.
for
Anything else?
for explaining and your expertise on all of this.
Yeah, and truly, if it happens again, we're gonna do everything we can to help, and we're gonna be there. I know Adam was there, and they were all in the water, and Public Works was in the water, and so we were all there, and we're doing what we can if it does happen again, so. But in the short term, we're gonna do everything we can to help, absolutely.
Plus, we'll make sure we'll walk around with that guy from the conservation too and have a look at everything too. He's got good recommendations for us, so definitely act on that.
Yeah, like, we can get the water to the lake, but if the lake can't take the water, right,
we
Jen,
do?
that's what we
Right.
talked about.
Right.
You know, you could keep filling up the lake, well, you can only get so full and it just can't take any more water. So
Right.
this guy was, this gentleman, he was pretty passionate about it. He was looking forward to coming to Chisholm and helping us, so
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Maybe if he can help us dig some of that sediment out of the lake, we can make more room for water.
There you go,
Yeah?
all right.
All right. Anything else?
No,
Thank you.
no,
Thank
thanks,
you.
everything. Yeah.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
All right. Miscellaneous. So if anybody would like to jump back to that letter, obviously it was just requesting the president rescind his withdrawal of the 224,000 acres in northeastern Minnesota. You know, after after that was passed, I did reach out to Senator Klobuchar on my own, also as Adam Lance, who lives in the Iron Range, and just talked about you know, the needs for you know, the minerals in the ground. We do live in an area, everywhere in the world has resources in the ground, and comes, you know, in the ground, grows out of the ground, and areas of the world capitalize on those resources, and that what sustains the economies. Unfortunately, our minerals and resources are very controversial, but they're used in everyday items, and you know, I for one think that we can mine responsibly up here, and I think that we should all be supporting it.
That's right.
Agree 100%.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't have any issue with this letter. I don't have any issue with you as part of the Iron Range mayors, with your name being, you know, on here for agendas that they're pushing. The only thing that I would, you know, the thing you might want to just be careful of is if it's an endorsement.
Yep,
That would
and
be the only thing that I would.
you will never see me endorse anyone from here,
So other
no,
than
from
that,
out there either.
Other than that, I'm more power to you.
Right.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
I think if you want to vote on it, you can. I don't know that you need to, but if there's any concerns, I think if anyone objects, you know, you could certainly vote on it and take a roll call vote if there's any objection. But it's a recommendation. As the mayors, you're not representing the council on this, so. Yeah.
All right, if there's nothing else, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank you, Travis.
Second.
Thank you, Jed. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Everyone have a good night. And congratulations.